Ali Shamim Naqvi is the founder and principal architect at Ali Arshad Associates, AAA, and has successfully delivered numerous regional and international world-class commercial, retail, and residential projects over his 35-year career. These range from private luxury villas to mega projects such as airports, malls, hotels, resorts, amusement parks, logistic parks, high-rises, automobile showrooms, restaurant chains, and many more. He understands the vision, expectations, and needs of his clients while always taking a pragmatic approach to time, cost, and quality. Architect Naqvi also dedicates his time to philanthropy as president of Shrine Humanity, managing trustee of Qandeel Orphanage, and was the lead person in revival of 2 acres of Sadpara Park Korangi. I would like to call upon Architect Ali Naqvi to come on stage and share his creative journey with us.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Firstly, I would like to thank my senior colleague and one of our mentors, Mr. Ijaz, Shahid Bhai, and all our senior architects over here. I'm grateful. And my partner, Arshad Farooqi, sitting in the back. So thank you, IAP. Okay, my wife is telling me I'm supposed to do this. So thank you, IAP, for giving me this opportunity today. Thank you, Chairman IAP, Chairman PCATP, and I do also want to thank all the sponsors and the people who help us get this function organized year after year. Before I really get into my part of the speech, I would like to, as a husband and as an architect, acknowledge the services of Tehmina, my wife, who you all might know that has been associated with IAP probably more than myself. And so not only in IAP, Arshad Farooqi and myself, I think good 22, 23 years ago, we started a book by the name Source Book. And I think she has been perpetually year after year leading that book and somehow manages to bring that out every year. So I think that's been a major contribution to the profession of architecture and has helped us build the IAP house that we have and has brought the community of architects far closer to the building product materials and all. So do want to thank them and appreciate the efforts for Tehmina. To having taken care of that one, basically, sir, if I'm supposed to do this. Okay, so I was just discussing with Shahid Saab that I would be showing some of the works that we have done and how the journey got us where we are today. But more important than that, for me, I think if I can convey a message today for all our architects or all our young architects or even our good practicing firms, that how to run their practice. I'm not here to teach them anything, but I think this is something which we have learned, and I'm thankful to some of my friends who were really more entrepreneurs and they were more into businesses and other things. And by virtue of when I'll explain you the course I went through, the learning curve made me understand that yes, it's an architectural practice, but it needs to be taken up as a proper business. So we'll try to gear this whole show towards how we manage to put everything together to make it into, we feel, a successful practice today. So I was born in 1960 in Lahore, did my metric from Habib Public School. Parents were very keen. They had two sons. One had to become an engineer and the other one had to become a doctor. So as luck would play, didn't do quite so well in intermediate, never made it to a medical college. So that helped me. Luckily, my father at that time was a senior executive in one of the banks called BCCI in those days. So he had asked me to come to England and look into any of the possible lines that I might like to select. So I did go through a lot of introduction to this, engineering, architecture, even medical, and I did manage to get into a medical college somewhere in Santo Domingo, but that was dropped out. So eventually graduated from University of Texas, Austin. That probably was one of my best decisions with respect to getting into a good school of architecture was concerned. And those 5 years spent in School of Architecture, I believe they still resonate in the practice that we carry out today. Some of the things which we feel that those crits which were carried out by the professors at the end of producing a design, and how external members, external practicing architects would come in and tear our drawings up and just shred everything out, and so that gave you the confidence of taking the criticism, that gives you the confidence of seeing what to do it and how to do it right. So that helped. Unfortunately, there was a small glitch which happened. I was in my third year, and in my third year, I unfortunately lost my father. My mother was sick, but my father had taken there for a surgery, and she was given few months, but the death of my father took place while she was in the hospital being treated for her cancer treatment. So there was a major setback, and things did change the course for me as a professional and my plans to become an architect, whether it was to work in the US or whether it was to move back. I had no questions of not moving back, and decided to take the course as fast as I could and tried to move back as fast as possible. So the 2 years at the campus were a difficult period, and I'm having problems moving this forward. How does this move forward? So 1985, after that incident in 1983, I had to come back to an ailing mother who was supposed to go through a extensive cancer procedures and all, and had a given life period of about 6 months to 8 months. So the entire thing was more concentrated to take care of her and be with her. But God had been kind, and she lived 20 years beyond that. When I came back to Pakistan, I was very lucky to have gotten offers from, at that time, Arshad Shahid Abdullah's firm, Mr. Habib Fidali's firm, and NESPAC. NESPAC was offering us a project which was Karachi International Airport. At that time, ASA was not quite sure which project they would give me, but Habib Saab was quite clear. He had been recently commissioned by Mr. Babar Ali to do the Lahore University of Management campus. So the 5 years I spent with Habib Saab was in direct mentorship with him. He was almost like a fatherly figure to me. And I don't see any shame in saying that whatever I am today, I think there's a lot of Habib Fidali behind it. So Habib Saab not only taught me how to conduct yourself, how to talk to your clients, how to carry a project, where to put your step down, and more so the basic design principles and the symmetries and the scales and the rhythms, which I'm sure audience in this hall know much better than I do. So the 5 years with Habib Fidali went by pretty quickly, and we've got a stuck situation again. Then after Habib Fidali, I had joined a company by the name, because it was very difficult to quit Habib Saab, because Habib Saab was not only a very loving man, and he would just not let you go. I mean, क्या पैसे और चाहिए? ले लो ना, पैसे ले लो, तो क्यों जाने की क्या ज़रूरत है? तो बड़ा एक अजीब सा माहौल था कि उनको छोड़े इंसान तो कैसे छोड़े. तो लकीली उस वक्त एक फ्रेंच कंपनी आई हुई थी कराची में by the name Sojia, and they wanted a project architect on the construction team side. So this is important for me to explain that this time around I was not working for the architect, but I was working for a contractor. And working for a contractor where there were over 4,000 people simultaneously working with multiple level of finishes and disciplines, and all the trades were there, and we were constantly dealing back and forth with NESPA, getting their approvals. Eventually, I made it to the top of the architectural team within the first year, and I was leading the 60 architectural team members who were headed at that time by a local French, but then finally I was taken by them. I continued to work with them on contract basis for another 2 years, but full-time work I had finished in 2 years. Went through various presentations with the prime ministers. I'm having problems with this. Beta? Okay, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Supposed to click there or supposed to click there? Yeah? Okay. किधर करने? Okay. So, after the Sojia years, we had started working part-time. Fortunately, my very dear friend, colleague, somebody who was sitting next to me at Arshad Habib Fidali's office, we decided to partner and start work together, and we started the Ali Arshad Associates. This picture is a recent one. We both took it together. So we were young in those days, especially for sure Arshad was. And even today, both of us, I think, do practice by the name Ali Arshad Associates. But I was, okay, so Ali Arshad Associates really started take off in 1993 as a firm, went through various logos, started whatever was coming our way. As a normal small practice starts, we operated from the garage of my house with about 3 people, 4 people. The lady sitting here, Salma, she was a student from Daud College, and she used to come and work part-time with us. And she's still with us, so good 30 years plus. So we started with 3, 4 people. So today we are doing various disciplines within the office, and we have various studios within our office. And this is important for you to understand how we have structured this, and I will try to cover probably all of these areas one by one. We have worked with, registered with PCAT-P, IAP, LDAs, defense, cantonments. Hopefully PCAT-P is doing something to have a single registration. Then this is an interesting slide that we were approached on some projects where the pre-qualifications criteria were such high that only some foreign firms could come and probably deliver that. So we started to look at collaborating with some international firms, and we were lucky at that time to collaborate with the second largest architectural practice, IDIS. It was a game changer for us. This one decision where we decided that we should work with the Goras. Not only that we started getting a much better and higher fee, but the tools, the learning, the REBA contracts, deliverables, all those stages which are very critical, they were really taken into the design and the concepts right at the behest of the project. We have associations even today with some of these leading firms, such as Architects, Crystal Lagoons, WSP, Electrolyte, and some of our local associates, that engineering firm and Bunyad and the engineering MEP firms. Our list of clients is also quite tall. Presently, we are doing one of the biggest Laguna projects in DHA Phase 2. We've done for Nishad Group, we've done a hotel for them. Then we did an extension for the same hotel. Then we did the mall for them, and there's a mall and a hotel building. We did for packages, quite a few projects, but Packages Mall is one of them. We've done work for Surti. Presently, we are doing work for Imar's latest tower, which is coming up around 43 floors. We're doing some work for Barrett Hodson's University in Karachi, and there's quite a lot of lists going on over there. We have been acknowledged and have received some awards. In Cityscape Dubai, Emporium Mall had gotten one of the best retail layouts, because there is a lot of complications with respect to how retail layouts are done in the mall. I am a firm believer that education is something which we can continue to learn, and there's always so much to learn. And at the time when I was going through Habib Fidali or through my pre-Habib Fidali days of School of Architecture, the idea was just to graduate and get some good GPA. But when you go back to a school after you've done your work, I think your learning curve is very different. Then you really want to go and learn. So I was very glad that I took up a program in Harvard, and there we went through a lot of it. It's conducted through School of Business and the School of Design, and we went through various courses. It was a one-year program. I also did my project management from Lahore University of Management Sciences. And then we initially started our basic architectural works. So I'm going to flip through some of these slides in a slightly quicker manner, because there's something bigger that I want to convey today. So we started with villas, whatever was coming our way. this is probably one of the houses which everybody has seen to death. It comes in every drama, every play, every movie in Pakistan. Some of the houses by some famous personalities in Pakistan. So we've been working with various styles, various vocabularies, and I definitely feel I'm one of those people that I feel that we've been taught how to design. We've been taught to speak in various languages. And we should look at what my client is aspiring for, and if we can translate that into what they're aspiring for, that would be the success and result. So we have, alhamdulillah, managed to do very high-end residences. We're doing a very big villa, huge. It's more like a palace, if you may, in Bangladesh. This is under construction as we speak. I think it's come out of the ground, and very, very fancy. And those guys have, if you think Pakistan has style, Bangladesh has a lot of style and a lot of money. So this is some of the under construction pictures of that particular project. Then we have another section which is being led by one of our dear colleagues, Fatma Shah. She's not here, I believe, right now, but Fatma is an Indus Valley graduate, but she had a flair for interiors, so now she plays and she takes on the projects as interior design projects. And she's done some brilliant interiors for very high-end residences. And some of these things are done absolutely bespoke, and every single thing has been fitted out, purchased, and sourced by her. So some of the images which you see on the top are the renderings which were conceived, and the images on the bottom is what was actually built. So you can see how closely she was getting her visions aligned. So when we were working on some commercial jobs, we were lucky to get involved with IDAS for their dream project of KPT Towers. In this project, our learning curve as a firm was, I think, the best outcome of the project. So we got to know a lot of trades about fire exits, vertical strategies, vertical elevators, how do you separate the functions and forms, and how do you take care of all the vertical movements, and what kind of challenges does a high-rise face when we have to do it with the infrastructure which is in Pakistan. So fire strategies, wind tunnel testings. So luckily people from my office, I think that's Sarah Sefi, we had exchange programs. So architects from our office went to the Manchester office, people from the Manchester office came and worked in our office, and it went through up to tender drawing stage till unfortunately we lost Benazir Bhutto, and then this project was shelved. So we participated in a lot of other competition projects. This was the Emporium Mall project. This was again a very young, dynamic Karachi girl, Ikra Mansha, leading the project, and she, I think she is a pioneer as far as real estate is concerned in Pakistan, with the knowledge that she has and the way she conducted on this job. Because the day they bought this project in auction, the very next day she called me and they wanted to start the project. So we literally started digging the project in less than 20 days, not even having a design in our hand, because we knew we'll have a parking, 2 floors of parking. So, and it was a huge project, so it took about 3 months of secant piles and other pilings to protect the area. And in about 2.5 years, we opened this mall for public, which is probably at this point in time taking almost 75,000 people footfall at a time. And this is complying to fire elevators, fire exits, which were for the first time for us. And a lot of details and a lot of steel structure involvement, which in Pakistan was never carried out before. Even this kind of a facade was carried out in Pakistan for the first time, whereas it's called an SFS facade. It's all suspended off the frame, steel frame systems. Mega scale, 70 to 80 feet high, steel columns, and a huge, humongous steel structure, giving that magnanimity of scale. We had all the leading firms from Pakistan and abroad, like Guarantee and Mughals and whatnots, who were working with us on this project day and night. The facade system happening. We had over 30 architects from our firm stationed on this site. So it was a similar thing which we were doing at the Karachi airport. That experience was really coming out and being repeated over here. And finally, the mall, where one of the most important things was that people love being watched. We like being watched, we like seeing people, we like having the scale. And as a mall, how the retail mix works and how you place your anchors, where you have your play zones and where you have your food courts, and the quality of light, no dead-end corridors, and how the anchors and all are parked within the mall. Lot of event spaces all year round, various events are taking place over here. Banqueting area, hotels, and Okay, this was a project which was shelved due to one of the chief judges of Pakistan. This was Falcon Mall, main Share Faisal. And when it was ready, this one is stuck again. Okay, it seemed like moving. So similar concepts were there, but unfortunately it never got about. We are in a process of doing a mall. There is a Darawar Fort in Bahawalpur, and there is a mall for DHA Bahawalpur. This is not in my control, yes. So again, a similar concept where the basic dark brown colors are your basic anchors, your pinks are your food courts, greens are your entertainment zones, and the understanding of how a mall works, how your main hyperstar or your main grocery stores work, where do you bring in people, the event spaces, the scale. All those was a good learning curve by doing about 4 or 5 malls. We feel that now we are in a position to take care of these malls. These are some of the apartment buildings carried out in partnership with some of my entrepreneur friends. This is one of the school projects which has now become a university. This is in a place called Tuba Tech Singh. This is a lot of heat generated, and this is a double skin. So there is a tree of learning, and this is a false skin, and the actual skin of the building is behind the brick wall. We are again stuck, yeah. And there is lighting behind that, so at night time it does have another image. I believe people go there to take pictures, and it's become quite a talk of the town over there. This is the facility. It is being used very, very much so by students. So this was the function how we thought we could keep the hot air out and raise the hot air from the middle by keeping it a tensile structure. We are also doing a project close to the Bahria town. It's on a Shadi lawn which was called Orchid Lawn. This is now just coming up, and I think we have done its 4 basements. Right now it's onto its ground floor. This is called the Orchid, high-end residences and some offices. Very complicated geometry, and each and every piece has been fabricated out of Pakistan and has to be nut and bolted because it's got its own laser lights and laser shows happening in each of the members. This is a computer center building we are adding to one of the projects done by Mr. Habib Fida Ali, Salim Habib University. So they wanted a completely juxtaposed and state-of-the-art computer center building, which is now under construction, is coming up. And this is one of the Laguna projects which the firm has, about the major portion of the lagoon which is being done for the first time. About a 16 acres land of landfill has been created into a man-made lagoon, and the entire technology and the works of how to get the water filtered, whether it is through sound or through chemicals, that technology is already here, and we are in a process of, we already made the lagoon, but now we are doing the testing pools, and also some of the buildings, about 5 or 6 of the towers are now under construction. Now this is another interesting project, and hopefully the last one I'm showing. This is a very challenging project. It is up in Chitral. There are 2 valleys which actually come and meet at this point. There's one which is coming from Garam Chashma side, and the other one is from Gilgit, which forms into the Chitral Valley. And this particular point would be the tip of that. So your view is of a split of 2 rivers joining in right here. This is sitting about 300 feet directly above the water level. So it's got some very amazing views, and it was quite a challenge to construct it into a earthquake zone area. And this particular place is known to be heavy for winds. Golporio is, in their local terminology, probably means high wind or something like that. Some of the lobbies, all the interiors and everything, we have an interiors division which is done by that. Banqueting facilities. So it's a destination, it could be a wedding destination. It is about 110 key facility. It's already almost, structure is all done, and we have started the finishes for the project. You can see the runway. Okay, and now we are doing a project up in Karachi, which is 43 floors. Should be announcing very shortly, and it's coming up. Having done whatever we were doing as architecture, there were other things which we started doing. I am a member of the Salim Habib University. I head Shine Humanity Pakistan, which provides preventive health care to the needy in and around the Sindh area. I'm involved with the Education Trust. We are doing a very big mosque in Phase 8, and I'm very proud to state it was one of my late mother's khwahishat, among many, that I should have a yatim khana. So I do have a hostel for orphans, and I look after that 100% from my own sources and from my own individual time. I spend my Saturdays with them usually, whether it's the first half or second half. And then we have few other very good, interesting programs for education, which is called the Tips and Care. Just Shahid bhai baithe hain, inhone bahut kaam kiya, to just a very quick brief. Basically, this program is about picking up 5 children from intermediate, grinding them and gearing them and teaching them physics and chemistry and biology, so that somehow they can make it with the top numbers and they could make it to a professional college, with only one condition attached, that if they make it to a professional college, they need to teach 5 more kids that one subject. We have managed to get more than 873 kids into professional colleges such as LUMS, Daw Medical College, Sindh Medical College, and the program is still perpetuating. 5 are teaching another 5. This kid I'm very proud of. He's part of my setup. He's one of my boys. His name is Zishan. Zishan, when he came to me, his father was shot dead in Kargil, and he was probably 4 years old, and he lost his speech. He could speak, but he had a very strong stammer, and physically also he was not there. Luckily, through some connections and all, we managed to get Zishan into Military College Murray. And what a change has taken place in this boy in 1 year. We might be calling anything to the military, but trust me, the military college has brought, he's a mannerly kid. He can talk to you for hours. You give him a subject, he'll give you a speech on that. 1 year. He's got 3 more years to graduate from there. So really, one of my, probably if somebody asks, okay, what's your biggest achievement? So really, it's Zishan. I really feel that that's Zishan. So we did Muhammad Ali Sadpara Park. This was a Gilgit colony area. This was again as typical Pakistan, Karachi parks, full of sewerage, full of drug addicts, places where they would come in and take the chases out of the motorbikes, sell the parts, and no zone area, and very densely populated area, very densely. And children have no choice but to play on the streets where all these cars are plying. So we went in there, we backfilled the area, cleaned up the muck, made some cricket fields, added some jhulas and rides, and today it's free, no charges, and people go and use this very effectively. We use the kids of the area, people from my office. We went there, painted the walls, got a lot of people involved of the area, and today I think it's again in that area a fairly successful place where the values of the properties have also gone up. People have a good place to come out and breathe in the evening when the electricity is not there. They all come out and they can sleep here. In the recent floods, as guided by Shahid Saab, I was introduced to a project which was EPS, and with EPS, these are ready-made walls, and the EPS construction company wanted us to do something for the flood affectees. So we used their EPS sheets to construct immediate toilets, housing facilities, and then later on multiplying them into communities and schools and healthcares. So these, what you're seeing, have been built. They were done under the initiative of the Prime Minister. So we've been practicing for 30 years. We're quite happy with what we're doing. We have done probably over 500 residential units, and I think over 30 million square feet of built-up area. Obviously, this all was not possible by Ali Naqvi himself. So we have our beautiful family working with us, and Salma Aziz, who's also here today, has been one of my lead associates from day one. Sara Saifi is looking after the main architectural works. Fatma Shah really looking after and steering the interior design department. Makhdoom Qadri, my old friend from Habib Fidali days. Probably I learned how to draft from him when I joined Habib Saab. And he's with me, and he's also now one of our directors. And our very young man who joined us young but not as young now, Uzair Mateen, who's also sitting here. And my, proudly speaking, my eldest son, who's not an architect at this point, but from last 2 years, we've gotten him engaged into architecture, and hopefully he is planning to join a school of architecture at some point in time. So that's basically our team. This is some of the shots from our office, and today we are more than 100 plus as a team operating from Karachi. One of the things, thank you. One of the things which I was discussing with Arshad Saab too, that I do want to brief to some of our young architectural firms or some of the practices in Karachi or Pakistan, is that we have developed a model which I believe works very well to how to run an architectural practice. Now, the way we are operating is that we have a board, and the board meets on a regular basis once a month. In that, we assess what kind of works we are doing, what kind of a fee structure are we getting, what kind of people we've got involved on that, and what sort of income stream do we have coming into the office. I'm sorry I keep going back to Mr. Habib Fidali, but Mr. Habib Fidali, among so many things, had also taught me and had told my mother also कि आप उसको कहिएगा कि घर बनाना कभी ना छोड़े, कुछ भी करे घर बनाता रहे। तो वो चीज़ उनकी मैंने आज तक फॉलो की हुई। हम अभी तक घर बनाते हैं और बिल्डिंगें भी बनाते हैं, लेकिन आई स्टिल enjoy doing my houses. So we have an income stream which comes from the houses, and we know a house would complete in, let's say, 2 years, 3 years. So we know if we divide that income by the next coming 36 months, and if we know a commercial project would last us about 4 to 5 years, we try to divide that income by that many years. That gives us a possible projected income stream. To achieve those, we need to have the manpower, designers, visualizers, interior designers. So we formulate such teams that we can achieve those financial goals in those months. And we must close certain projects by certain dates. In our contracts, we write it absolutely black and white. We put a stage which we call a sign-off. When we write that it is a sign-off stage, it means the payment is due. So when a client is asking us to move from a concept design to, let's say, schematic design, concept design, or design development, working drawing, for each stage we take a formal sign-off. Each formal sign-off also means invoice coming their way. So those things work hand in hand. We have our very young friend over here, Shena. She helps us a lot with all our recoveries. So we have a complete dedicated person who looks after what is happening in the office as work and looks after the cash flows of what we can generate within the office. And alhamdulillah, we probably have 3 to 5 months of salaries ahead in the game with us always. Not only that, throughout the pandemic, we made 100% salaries to everybody. They were sent to their homes. And I am also a firm believer that we are a family. And if any of them, they need to go to anywhere, they need to come to us. And we take care of all our family, all our people, just the way as a big family member would be. Whether it is on moral grounds, social grounds, financial grounds, educational grounds, because without them, we are nobodies. So I am very thankful to all of you to listening this long lecture, and also thankful to entire team of Ali Arshad Associates and my daughter-in-law to be here with us also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ali Saab, for sharing your 30...
Am I supposed to stay here? Am I supposed to be here for any questions or anything?
There will be a Q&A session at the end of session A.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your 35-year creative design journey with us. And now